to another interview. Today we're super excited to have Randi Pink with us. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce her. Randi Pink is the author of critically acclaimed and award-winning novels for readers of all ages. Pink's young adult novel, Girls Like Us, was named one of School Library Journal's best books of 2019, and National Public Radio suggested teachers and librarians turn her newest novel, Angel of Greenwood, face out on the shelves. A native resident of Birmingham, Alabama, Randi Pink leverages her unique experiences with her Southern roots. When she writes, Pink is a daughter of the South, born into the rich and troubled histories that surround her. She passionately writes those stories in the hopes of sharing both the beauty and ugliness of our shared past. Randi is a mother, writer, advocate, fighter, friend, and so much more. Through her platform of encouragement, love, and truth, Randi connects with her loyal readers through her short stories, web series, novels, scripts, and public journal entries. So thanks for being here with us, Randi.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, we will.
I actually read your book, Angel of Greenwood, and it's actually one of my favorite books. So I'm really excited that you're here with us.
Oh, that means so much. Thank you.
So Kendra came up with this first question, but I thought it's so funny because it actually relates a lot to my capstone project, which is about representation of difficult subjects without like that. I don't know how to describe it in a couple words, but yeah. So the question is, in your book, you tend to talk about some pretty sensitive subjects such as racism and unplanned pregnancies. So what techniques do you use to bring awareness to these subjects and talk about them without readers who may be a little more hesitant to approach those topics feeling like it's being shoved at them?
Oh, that's such a great question. What a wonderful question. And thank you for having me. Y'all are fantastic. But my thing is pretty much in all areas of life, to approach with humanity first. And in my writing and my parenting and my friendships and my relationships with my parents and siblings and all of it, if humanity is what I'm leading with, everybody can relate to that, and errors, mistakes, misjudgments, tripping and falling, everybody's done it. I think in Angel of Greenwood and Girls Like Us, as long as the person who falls is tapped into their own humanity and we know them and feel them as good or decent even, you don't even have to be that good, just be decent. And the reader or the friend or the child is going to root for you, So I think just in all areas of life, I'm emotionally centered, very intentional about feeling for the other person in books and in all areas.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay. So you brought a lot of history into Angel of Greenwood, whether it be with like the people that you mentioned, like Wed Dubois, or even like just Greenwood itself. So what was your favorite way to do research for that book and why?
Oh, what a great question. I think the research was tough. I can't pretend that it wasn't. W.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington and all of those autobiographies were wonderful, challenging, but wonderful to read and dissect and try to feel myself there. And actually, place what was happening when I was writing in 2019-20, all the way back then. There's so many through lines in those autobiographies. I think if I enjoyed one thing to research about it, it would be Greenwood itself. Not the massacre, because that was very challenging, but just researching the fact that after hundreds of years of enslavement, people could have just rested and said, oh, I'm tired. But they didn't. They got up and they stacked one brick and then another, and they built their paradise. That, I think more than anything, that was a rabbit hole I loved, because I didn't just want to know who destroyed or attempted to destroy Greenwood. I wanted to know who built it. And it was some heroes, like they're my heroes, the people who built such a place.
That's beautiful.
I'm trying to get words into my mouth, but yeah, that's really awesome. I love doing research for books, so yeah. I definitely am with you there. So how did publishing your first book change your writing process?
Publishing the first novel, I didn't sleep much, and not because I was writing, but because I was so terrified, anxious. If you think about the first day of ninth grade, it's like, oh my Lord, what am I doing? Should I even be here? And so much self-doubt, so much, and criticism. You walk down the halls of this new foreign place, and the 10th, 11th, 12th graders are looking at you like, who is this? What type of shoes do you have on? Well, and you're like, is something wrong with my shoes? It was basically that, like on a level of these words that used to be in my diary are now out in the world, and on Goodreads. And am I good enough am I worthy enough for that? And with that first novel, Into White, I read every review, and I realized that I had so much that I did not understand about writing in general, and I needed to course correct. So I took a year off from writing after that first book came out, because it was so, there was so much growth in that. But yeah, it was hard. I can't sugarcoat it. It was hard.
I love how you say that, because a lot of the authors we get when we ask that question, because we like to ask that question a lot of the time they say when they first got published, it was amazing and it was just so surreal. But I love how you brought back that it is scary, like, to think of what other people are going to think about what you wrote. So I really love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So out of all of your characters, which one do you think is the most relatable to your readers, and why?
I think Isaiah, because Isaiah is hiding, and especially now with social media and avatars and and just photoshopping ourselves into something that we're not. Isaiah does that. He's I call him a peacock. Like he's like, look at me. I'm walking perfectly, and I'm doing exactly what is expected of me. But he closes the door to his bedroom and he's like, okay, peacock feathers off. I'm a poet. I'm in love. And that's who I am, really. So I think a lot of us do that. Too many of us do that, really. Pretend to be fluffy other thing that we're not, when really, if we just show ourselves as we are, we're unique and perfect. But we don't know that. None of us know that, really.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
very relatable.
I really did connect with Isaiah when I was reading. And it's just easy to want things to turn out for him because you get to see him hiding, but then you also get to see the realness of his situation. And it's really cool.
Let's see. What do we have here? What is your process to select character names?
Oh,
Very
well,
this one.
I am, and always have been just wildly observant and, always listening, ears open. And I talk to my mom a lot too. She's like an elderly now Black woman from the South. And I listen to her stories. And in her stories, she'll just come out with a name from somebody she went to high school with, or somebody my grandmother was best friends with in the 40s or whatever. And I'm like, what? Rewind? What was that name? And why don't we use it now? And I guess it's going to be in a book. So usually, like, I love talking to my elders, not only my mother, but even older than that. If I can find elders and listen to their stories, I get a lot of my names from there, and a lot of my encouragements and phrasing and all of it just from the elders of the South. It's so rich.
That's awesome.
My extended family is actually from Louisiana, and my great grandmother had 6 sisters, and they all have such pretty names that I have characters named after all of them.
Yeah, that's wise. Especially, you know what, Louisiana is special too. Like, Alabama's one thing, but Louisiana, it's like, it's its own thing. The accents, the lingo, the food, it's just, if you can tap Louisiana in your writing, man, you're going to be best-selling author.
Well, we're hoping.
Okay. If you could get your readers to take away one thing from your books, what do you want that message to be?
Especially with Angel of Greenwood, read autobiographies. I mean, sure, read Angel of Greenwood, absolutely. But after that, go check out W.B. Du Bois's autobiography or Booker T. Washington's, because we learn the days that they were born, the days that they died, but we actually have stuff that they wrote out there that we could read. Like, we don't have to guess as to who they were. We can read it. And I think I get frustrated when in media portrayals or, that our people, and when I say our people, like what I consider American heroes, are being portrayed as like shadows of what they were. But they have autobiographies, so we don't have to just see the shadow. We can read their words and see or read how they wanted us to know them. That's the most important thing for me. And secondly, for Greenwood, is research Greenwood too, not just the massacre, because Greenwood is so much more than the massacre. Don't just learn who burned it, but learn who built it too.
That's awesome. I'm really into history personally. So,
me too.
Yeah, so actually, in my history class at the end of the year, we're going to have to write a big long essay about whatever topic we want. And Greenwood really stood out to me. So I think that's what I'm going to try and do.
Oh, that makes my heart happy.
Unfortunately, I am not in an actual like US history class anymore, so I don't have that privilege. But I also am a huge nerd, so I will definitely be looking more into that. What would you tell young writers who are discouraged about becoming published?
Oh, what would I tell you? That's a good one. You know what? I would say write anyway. I mean, I think that's obvious. Write anyway. Don't stop just because you get no's. But I would also say, write this moment in particular, because I think a lot of people are forgetting that we're living in a moment that is so ridiculous. Like everything that's going on around us. I mean, I do talk to a lot of elders, and people in their 70s have never seen anything like this. Pandemic, so much just chaos. If you can write it, I believe you'll be able to publish it. If you can write it honest, 2020 especially, like y'all were out of school. Yeah, I mean, write it, because the trauma of showing up to school, leaving your backpack in your locker and not being able to go back and get it for a year, that's traumatic. You're not seeing your friends. It's traumatic. Write it. Dear God, write it. And don't worry about publishing, because somebody's going to want to read it. Somebody's going to publish it if you write it honest enough.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really great advice.
You just say things like you're so down to earth. It's
just, yeah, I know.
I just want to sit and listen to you forever.
Oh, thank you. I feel the same about y'all. So thank you.
Okay. Have any of your experiences from your past influenced something that your characters have gone through in your books?
Oh, yes. I believe in writing honest, and sometimes that's not a good thing because people go through horrible things. And if you're writing or presenting truth, sometimes it's awful. So yes, I've written some joys, some beautiful things that I've gone through in life, but also some of the worst days of my life have been reinterpreted into my characters, sometimes by accident. Sometimes I'm just kind of writing on a keyboard and then I'll read it back and be like, oh my goodness, I dug somewhere in 10, 15 years ago that I didn't even know needed to be revealed, So yeah, I can't help it. I know I actually did a webinar recently with a writer who said that he does not do that. He is like the whammy, like he refuses. He's like bullet points only. And I was like, gosh, I wish, but no, I can't write like that. I don't know how.
I think also sometimes when you put your own emotions into a story, I guess, but you're not making it too obvious, it makes it more relatable too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm glad. I like how you said that, because emotions, they're my favorite thing about being alive. And I think society looks at emotional beings, like they look at that as a detriment. And I'm always frustrated by that. Because if we did not have emotions, and the people I know in my life who don't have a wide spectrum of emotions, I feel kind of bad for them. I'm like, if you can't feel, what's the point in living, you know?
Yeah. I love asking this question and I love hearing the answers because I struggle with it. What do you do to beat writer's block?
Oh, what do? I walk. I walk it out. And again, so simple. But if I have writer's block, I will walk for 2 hours. And, you know, just like one foot in front of the other does something to the human spirit, I feel like. Not, and some people run, I know, but I feel like running kind of takes so much focus that you're almost too focused. Like, I just believe just walk and observe, like the way that the trees curve in, or the way that, you know, the cars go by, whatever you see, take it in. And if you're, you know, a creative person, eventually you're taking in so much of the world that you're going to find something special enough to write about.
That's awesome. I really like that. I'm going to have to try that out sometime.
I like what I usually do is I walk and I listen to podcasts, usually about writing, and then I'll be like, oh, that's cool. I should do something like that.
That's a great one too. History podcasts, sometimes I do that because, you know, historical fiction, if I can find, I think things you didn't hear in history class, you know, those type of podcasts, a random figure will come out of that I'm like, oh, that person deserves to be written about, you know, and, you know, just kind of put it in your notes in your phone and say, maybe one day I'll write about that thing. So that's a good point too.
That's awesome. Okay, unfortunately, we're running out of time. I could sit and just listen to you forever. You've got so many great ideas and so much to say. It's just awesome. But we're going to move to our lightning round. This one's just supposed to kind of be fun, fast answers, just to have fun. Okay, so our first one is, what is your comfort book?
What is my comfort book? I'd say the caterpillar one, the very hungry caterpillar.
That one's a cute one.
Yeah, it makes me happy.
Where is your favorite place to write?
In a quiet room at the library in my town.
That's awesome. Okay, if you were the main character of a book, what genre would it be?
I want to say, like, what is Gone Girl? I'd be like horror, but, you know, very internal horror. No, but that's the first thing that came to mind. So maybe I'll just go with it. What does that say about me?
What do you like to eat or drink when writing, if anything?
Coffee. Black coffee. Nothing in it. I like it straight up. And take it to the head. Just black, thick coffee. Sometimes straight out of the thing. Like, I don't even pour it in sometimes I take it off the pot and just drink it out the pot. That's how, yeah, it's awesome. A problem.
Okay. What do you like to do when you're not writing?
Definitely playing with my kids. Dolls. I like playing dolls with my kids. And yoga, when hot yoga was open. That's my favorite. I could do it for hours, actually.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I can't remember who said this, but I thought it was brilliant. If I could, I would automatically know every language in the world so I could communicate with everyone. There would be no communication barriers.
That's awesome. Okay, we've got 2 more questions and then we'll unfortunately be out of time. But we're so glad you came and talked with us. Okay, so our last 2 questions are, where can people buy your books?
They're pretty much everywhere. I think if I could suggest indie bookstores, whatever in your community, the small bookstores, go in there, and they're probably there. If they're not, I'm sure they'll order them for you. But anywhere books are sold, pretty much.
Awesome.
And finally, where can people find you online?
Oh goodness. Okay, so well, you can find me on Instagram, but I'm not as active there. I'm very active on TikTok, but it's not under my name. It's under Ruffner Treehouse Village account, RUFFNER Treehouse Village. I'm very active there. I have fun there, but Instagram under Randi Pink.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us.
We're so glad that you gave us your time to talk with us. I personally really enjoyed talking with you, and I'm sure that all of our followers are gonna absolutely fall in love with you. So thank you so much.
Thank y'all so much. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, have a wonderful day, everybody here and everybody watching at home. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.